Mr. Mark, the principal of Canyon University program, and now we're going to ask him a few questions on tips on passing OSSLT tests. So from your point of view, how do you rate OSSLT and how important is it based on Canada and over here?
Well, it's a benchmark literacy test, and it was developed in response to the universities, really in North America, saying that they were concerned that students didn't have the necessary literacy skills to be successful at university. And so in Ontario, they made passing the OSSLT a graduation requirement to ensure that the standards in Ontario graduates would meet the post-secondary school education requirements, or here we call it tertiary, same thing. So I think it's really important.
So how is OSSLT is like the main exam in Canada? Like here in Malaysia, we have like UPS or PMR, which covers all the subjects, but OSSLT is based on English. So is there any other exams?
Well, remember for the OSSD, the Ontario Secondary School Diploma, there's 3 graduation requirements. So students still have to pass 6 courses. And in those courses, the literacy skills are required. Numeracy skills if they're taking mathematics, but all courses really require literacy skills. So the OSSLT was to emphasize the importance of literacy skills in all of the subject areas. So it doesn't stand alone. It's just one of the requirements.
Okay. How would you differentiate OSSLT for a regular test, for a regular English test?
Well, I think it's in many ways it's a more practical application. It's not so much content-based, it's skill-based. And I think we've demonstrated this year that you can practice, and that once you understand the nature of the questions and what's being asked, then you're better prepared. And so it's not about literature, it's not about poetry, it's not about some of the usual content in English courses, but it's about communication skills, about reading and writing skills, which are really important in all subject areas, important in all walks of life.
So is taking workshops like English workshops really important for the OSSLT test, or do you prefer going to the exam and just do it?
I think the workshops are helpful because students can practice, and I think this year that the introduction of Canvas and the fact that students could go online, do a portion of the tests, get their score, do it again, practice. I hope will demonstrate that there are skills that improve with practice.
So is there anything you want to say to students who are about to take the OSSLT test?
Well, I think practice makes perfect, and I think that the workshops, the opportunity in class, the platforms we use this year, students need to take advantage of those. It's not a cram situation. It's I guess a development of skills throughout the semester, throughout the year.
So guys, you heard it from Mr. Mark, the principal of Canyon program. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Now we're gonna ask Mr. Doria about some tips on passing OSSLT. So, sir, have you any point of view on OSSLT test and how important is it in Canada compared to here?
Well, I mean, it's the same importance in the sense that, you have to graduate, right? It's the same requirement for students in Ontario. I think the scarier thing and what makes it a little bit more intense here is that you only have 1 year with us, right? You only have anywhere between a 12 to an 18-month runway to graduate. In Ontario, they've got 4 years. So if they fail it, they have another year to go, and they can take the course and things like that. So you guys are under a little bit more pressure, but the requirement is the same.
Have you had any experience on teaching students on OSSLT?
Mm-hmm.
So would you recommend the students to attend the workshops and cooperate with the teachers, or just go into the exam?
No, definitely. I mean, the OSSLT, as I think you know, is very specific, in terms of what it is that they want, how many lines you have, what they want, specific answers for the rubrics. So it's important that you know, and so it's important that you go to the workshops. It's important that you take the mock test seriously. It's important that you go to student success to get one-on-one help with your mock test after it's completed. Those are really, really important. If you just go into the test blind, you're not going to know how to answer the questions. And because it's such an important test, it seems stupid to do so.
Okay. what do you think is the importance of time management during writing an exam like those?
I think time management's always important, and I think it's something that needs to be worked on. You have to have a designated amount of time, and you have to, focus it for specific parts. You can say, I'm going to spend today on the newspaper, today on the opinion paragraph, today on the summaries. If you're going to be successful and organized and efficient in anything that you do, you have to manage your time well.
So how would you differentiate OSSLT test to a regular English test?
Well, I think the OSSLT tries to touch on and test you on a different set of skills, let's say compared to ENG4U, right? ENG4U is not necessarily about, do you know how to summarize, do you know what, Jacinta said to Dave in this particular thing. It's more about analyzing literature, right, through lenses. So what you do is actually quite different. So the tests themselves are going to be different. There's actually very few tests when it comes to ENG4U. It's mostly essay writing. So I think that the opinion paragraph in the OSSLT is probably the closest that you're going to get to an ENG4U or an ENG3U style test, because the skills that they're testing you on are actually quite different.
So is there anything you want to say to the students who are about to take OSSLT? Any tips?
Any tips?
Yeah.
Oh. Study hard. All right. Take it seriously. You don't want to mess this one up. Okay, you got one chance, and then what are you going to do? Spend another 4,000 ringgit, come back for 6 months, take one course in OLC? No. I get it. It's shitty. It sucks. You don't want to have to do it. I understand that. But you know what? Too bad. You signed up for CPU, you got to get her done. It's one of those graduation requirements. So put your phone down. Don't go play pool. Don't do whatever the hell else you guys do. Spend a little bit more time. Focus. Work hard. Go to the workshops. Go to all the stuff that we try to do for you. Take advantage of it, because you know what? There's a lot of places that wouldn't do it. So focus. Use your time well, and actually care about the test. All right? Because you don't want to mess it up. That's my advice to you.
Nice. And thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good day.
Hello guys, so as you can see we are outside student success, and I'm going to ask Yannick. Yeah, I'm going to ask him about some tips on OSSLT. So have you taken OSSLT before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How do you feel about OSSLT test?
It's okay. Basic English.
Basic English. So in your school days, have you done like any English exams, like UPS or KMR? All of them. So how do you think that English is different from UPS or KMR English to OSSLT English?
It's a bit more tougher. We have to do like news reports. Learn UPS or KMR. You don't have any questions about news reports.
So do you think the students who are about to take OSSLT tests, should they go for the workshops to help them pass it?
Yeah, the workshops are very helpful. It's really offer workshops. It's very helpful.
Alright, thank you for your time. Hello, and our interview continues, and I'm here with Nari. Okay, so we are going to talk on tips on passing OSSLT. So have you taken OSSLT before?
Yes,
The actual one or the mock test?
actually.
Oh. Okay, so how do you feel about the exam and essays, and how do you manage your time during the exam?
Basically, time management is a very important concept in OSSLT. Basically, you have to try your level best to do every single question before it's the end of the exam. So I would suggest doing each questions by 2 to 3 minutes. Depends on the length of the question. Let's say it's an essay, I wouldn't give more than 15 to 20 minutes.
So do you think that students are about to take OSSLT, is it better for them to go to workshops and all of the classes teaching OSSLT, or just go straight to the exam and do it?
Workshops, or depends on the student. If he has a very good background in English, then it's an option. But if he really needs to pass it, he should go to a workshop.
Okay. So do you think the OSSLT exam is really important for the Malaysian students, or it's just
the requirement you have to do it, and that's why you do it?
In my own opinion, I would say I'm just doing it because it's a mandatory thing. So, yeah.
Alright, thanks for it. Okay, so have you taken the OSSLT test in CPU?
Yeah, I have.
How do you feel about it?
Sorry?
How do you, it's a Canadian test, right? So
Yeah.
how do you like think, is it hard or?
When I took the OSSLT, I got like a lot of help from lecturers lah. So, you know, they gave us the format and stuff like that. So it was relatively okay for me.
So have you done the actual test or just the mock test?
Actual test.
Yeah. So in your school days, have you done like Malaysian government exams?
Yeah, I have.
Like,
PMR, SPM.
so how do you think it's like different from OSSLT? The English parts.
English part. I think OSSLT is, in my opinion, just a bit more direct, I guess, and it kind of opens up on a lot of ideas for me, like, yeah.
Okay. So to pass the OSSLT, do you think it's just a thing you go and write and you can pass, or you think it's important to go for the student success? And
I think it's definitely very important, just cause, you know, like, any tips or whatever that they give, you know, any about the format and stuff like that, it really does help you to pass with a higher grade and stuff like that.
okay, so thanks for your time and introduction.
Yeah, my name is Daniel Chong, and I came to CPU during March 2015.